we've seen an explosion in altcoin activity, including Ethereum in the last year outperforming Bitcoin. But the altcoins also have greater volatility. How do you evaluate the altcoins relative to Bitcoin? And what do you say to altcoin investors?
Investment advisor and Bitcoin strategist Plan B is extremely optimistic on the 2022 outlook for Bitcoin. Unlike gold, the rate at which Bitcoin's supply grows will constantly decline, eventually reaching zero once the currency's limit of 21 million coins is reached. Bitcoin's high still remains at $69,000, which we saw last November. If it surpasses that, most analysts say the upward trend will likely rise until Bitcoin reaches 100,000.
Well, from a investment point of view, I think it's a great move. I think people that invested in Ethereum did better than I did last year because of course, I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. I believe in the decentralization that Bitcoin brings, and the fact that it's the biggest one out there, and that Bitcoin is a protocol. But I sure see a lot of business cases that maybe do not depend on that decentralization as much as a money use case would be, as a Bitcoin use case would be, but more on the ICOs that we saw, or more recently the DeFi and NFT markets that are built on other coins. So yeah, I certainly see it as a very broad ecosystem. I am a Bitcoin maximalist, so I think that in the end, NFTs and DeFi and all that will be built on the much more secure and decentralized Bitcoin chain. But yeah, I can see it's happening right now on Ethereum and Solana and all the other coins, and that it has network effects too. So it might be too late for Bitcoin to start that as well. But it's certainly very interesting. But for me, the decentralized part, so the fact that Ethereum, for example, the main Ethereum chain runs with one company, Infura, and if there's something wrong, or if a government wants to control that chain, it can go to one place and close it down, and then it's over.
While crypto is increasing at a rate of 130% each year, the internet grew at 76% per year during the same period of its use. Even if crypto usage is cut in half by 2030, the number of crypto users in the world will have climbed by a staggering 5 billion. This would imply that cryptocurrency becomes the primary means of acquiring, transferring, and storing value.
That's why all the predecessors of Bitcoin failed. And with Bitcoin, of course, there's 100,000 nodes. Everybody can run their own nodes easily. And governments cannot close it down. And that's I think when there's a need for decentralization in a crisis situation, or when a government or company is trying to take control of a chain, then you'll see the big advantage that real decentralized chains like Bitcoin, and in fact there's only one, is Bitcoin, has. But right now I see a very diverse, a very broad spectrum of coins and tokens that are doing very interesting stuff, to be like NFTs. That's just brilliant. It's also pump and dump. It's also, you see the same thing as with ICOs, that it's the Wild West out there.
You know, as we all know, Bitcoin has never been hacked and the Bitcoin blockchain has never gone down. That can't be said for a lot of these proof of stake chains. So, you know, something like Solana, which is one of the best performers in 2021, has had issues with outages. There was also a hack of a wormhole between Ethereum and Solana in recent weeks that led to about $300+ million worth of Solana wrapped Ethereum being pilfered. But there's also, you know, a lot of commentators who say, well, Bitcoin's not the future because proof of work is not environmentally friendly and all those types of things. But what do you say to people who are huge advocates of proof of stake and think that, any crypto future has to involve proof of stake? What is, for our listeners who are less familiar with the trade-offs between those two, why is Bitcoin, the true store of value and the true decentralized network that's going to be a durable store of value over time?
Yeah, well, that's exactly the point. The proof of stake versus proof of work. And proof of work with Bitcoin, it is the most important thing that Bitcoin added to the already existing technologies like asymmetric encryption that we do with the public and the private keys, and the peer-to-peer network that we know from BitTorrent. So Bitcoin is basically that asymmetric encryption, BitTorrent, peer-to-peer kind of network structure, and proof of work. And proof of work is what makes the coin secure. So you need miners, you need to spend real dollars to hash the blocks and to secure the chain. And with proof of stake, you sort of go back to the fiat world where the one with the most coins, the one with the most value invested in that chain has the power to do whatever they please. And it's, so in my view, it's a step back. Yes, it doesn't take all the mining, it doesn't take all the miners and all the power that's required with Bitcoin. So you can label it, you can marketing it as environmentally friendly, but it sets you back one step to the old system that we know, the fiat system. So the ones with the power, with all the coins, with the money, they run the show, and that's what you don't want. For me, it's clear that proof of work is the only thing, and proof of stake is just a step back, and that's also why you see those problems that you mentioned, like it can be abused by the happy few, and
right.
And maybe that's okay for an NFT use case or for a DeFi use case, but it certainly is not for a global money use case.
But particularly in the United States, what do you think regulation will look like, and how do you think it'll affect Bitcoin prices and the blockchain?
Oh, difficult question. I don't know how they will look like, but I think the US has done a better job than China in not banning it, but regulating it and taxing it. And I guess that's the question that all the governments have to answer for themselves. Do we embrace this new technology, this new money technology, or do we ban it and kill it? And I guess it's the same game theoretical arguments at play, that the first mover advantage that a country has by putting great regulation in place, that brings them all the engineers and the brains and the capital and venture capital. That's something that they have to really consider. And I guess America is doing a better job than China there. But of course, Canada, Europe, and even El Salvador are seeing this as well. So I think in the end, it will be a competition, and the company or the country that has the best regulation will win this game. And the next crypto valley, if you will be in the country that has the best regulation. So yeah, and I guess from our origin point of view, America with its freedom and entrepreneurship should be well positioned to capture a large share of this new technology market.
Despite the fact that Bitcoin lost about half of its value during the meltdown that followed the November peak, its market cap has remained nearly unchanged. The market cap is trending near to the all-time high. This could signal that the holders of Bitcoin are really steering the price, and if the trend holds, Bitcoin could soon be worth $100,000 or more. Plan B says both stock-to-flow models and logarithmic regression point to 100,000. He says that he is one of the few who thinks we're in a normal cycle and that we'll go down again after the all-time high, and that everybody hopes for the super cycle or for the hyper-Bitcoinization to start right now, and that we do not have a big crash after next all-time highs. But as much as he hopes that we don't see the crash, he thinks we will. Plan B thinks we'll be managed by greed right now and by fear later on, and see another minus 80% after we top out at a couple $100,000. Let us know in the comments section down below what you think about Plan B's price prediction and where you think Bitcoin is headed in the current market. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Library of Wealth. We'll see you in the next video.